Guatsi Helpa. Hello, my name is Delene and this is my introduction speech. I'm from the Pueblo of Acma, and this is where I grew up. Um, I grew up in a three-room home, not three-bedroom, but a three-room home, and our living room basically turned into our bedroom at night. So, um, I was, however, in the military for 20 years, um, in the U.S. Navy to be exact, and I retired in February 2014. Uh, it was an experience. I was stationed in Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico. That was my first duty station. Worked on tugboats, bringing ships into port. Um, had an all-female crew, which was pretty awesome because we got recognized a lot for being able to handle the 8-inch lines that are this big around, and being able to bring those ships in to moor them safely up to up here. Then I was stationed at Amphibious Construction Battalion 2. That's where I made third class petty officer. That's where I re-enlisted, and that's where I became a coxswain, which is a boat driver. I became a boat pilot, and I liked that duty station. I would say that was probably the most funnest duty station that I was at. Met a lot of great people, a lot of wonderful friends, lifetime friends. Um, after ACB2, I was stationed at Joint Forces Staff College. It was just a general duty billet, shore duty. Then I was stationed on the USS Nitsa DDG 94, which is a destroyer Arleigh Burke class, which is one of the newer models of destroyers that the U.S. Navy has. Well, I was on there for a while. That's where I made second class petty officer, and I was there for a little over a year, but unfortunately, while preparing for the physical readiness test, I went and broke my ankle. So I had to have pins placed into my ankle. So I had to be removed from the ship because personnel on limited duty, they wouldn't be able to do the job that they're assigned to do if they're on limited duty. So I was sent to a temporary unit, and I had 18 months to be fit for full duty, which means I had to be able to do a physical readiness test just like everyone else, run a mile and a half in my required time, do the required amount of push-ups, sit-ups, and it was a struggle. It was really hard, especially with pins in my ankle, and my cartilage was shattered, and my ankle was just a mess. But in February 2006, I did it. I became fit for full duty, and in March of 2006, no, I'm sorry, March of 2007, that's when I received orders to go to the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, which is CVN 69. It's an aircraft carrier. That place was amazing as well. It can hold up to 6,000 personnel. They call it a floating city, which is pretty much what it is. When I was transferred to the USS Eisenhower, they were actually on a deployment at the time, and they were out in the Arabian Sea. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna probably have to wait until they come back. But no, they flew me out to Bahrain, and I was in Bahrain for about a week, and then they flew me on board the Eisenhower. Uh, that was an experience landing on an aircraft carrier. Uh, they because you're facing the rear of the plane, and you're strapped down. You have this, this cranial on your head, and hearing protection, and and they're telling you they're every single move that the plane is making, they let you know, and they tell us, that they even told us when we were getting ready to land. The reason why they did that was because they wanted to prepare you for when the catapult grabs a hold of the plane and yanks it back. Well, it doesn't yank it back, but it just keeps it from falling over the other side of the ship. So when that catapult grabs the ship, it flings you forward, and it was pretty scary, uh, but it was fun. I was stationed there for 4 years. Um, Again, met a lot of great people. My job as a bosun's mate excuse me, is we teach our sailors, junior sailors, how to drive ships, and actually precision driving. Uh, the reason why I say precision driving is because if you're off by even 1 degree for a certain amount of time, not even a long amount of time, I'd say about 5 minutes, depending on how fast you're going, you could set a ship off of course by hundreds of miles. So we always had to make sure that that we taught our seamen, our sailors, you know, um, how to always stay vigilant, or how to always make sure that you know we're wide awake, um, being professional, you know, holding yourself to a certain standard, to a certain integrity, um, because we being in the military, you can't afford to make mistakes. Everyone, it's like a big family. You have to watch out for each other. That's where I learned how a lot about teamwork, um, and it's an eye opener. Um, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Uh, it's hard work, but it's very rewarding um, to be able to have those types of experiences working in the military, you know get, receiving those accomplishments. I received the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, um, 3 times, and that's very rare in the military. um, I also received my enlisted surface warfare specialist. I became that, which is, you have to at least know a little bit about everybody's job. So if we're to go through some catastrophe, we will be able to do someone else's job in case they were incapacitated for whatever reason. Then I got my aviation. I became an aviation warfare specialist, and that, of course, it's the same thing, but it's on the aviation side. Um, After the Eisenhower, I actually went and was stationed in Yuma, Arizona at a Marine Corps Air Station. Working with the Marines is, it's an experience. It's a lot different. Their structure, everything. Um, it's very much different. Same military standards, you still have to be squared away and everything. But just, just they run things, a bit more strict, I would say. Uh, so I was there, and then finally, that's where I retired at. Um, like I said, I retired in February 2014, and I stayed in Yuma, and I started going to school at Arizona Western College. Um, I was about 2 weeks into going to school, and got some bad news that my father had passed away. So I came home, and part of our tradition here at um, Acma is the youngest daughter inherits pretty much everything, and I'm the youngest daughter, so they wanted to keep things traditional, so they told me, that the house was mine, not the 3-room house, the old house, but while I was in the military, my father had a 3-bedroom house, which built for my family, which is, I'm in one of the rooms. Uh, so I inherited the house, pretty much all of his possessions. I'm sorry, let me go back. I'm sorry. My mother had already passed away in 2003. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. Not that I forgot, my mother, but she passed away from colon cancer. Very devastating time. I don't really like to talk about it. It was a very, very challenging time, with, depression and everything. And, but I overcame it. That's one of the great things about the military is they teach you how to overcome, you know, um, tragic things that happen to you tragically. So I had that support from, my Navy family. Um, so back to where I was at, my father passed away, natural causes, and I inherited the house. Um, uh, so once I inherited the house, everyone was asking me, all my brothers and sisters were asking me, so when are you gonna move home? When are you gonna move home? So well, let me finish the semester out, and then I'll move home. So I did that, and I've been here ever since. Ever since I moved back in December 2014, and I've been trying to get back into living on a reservation. I work at the Sky City Hotel, casino and hotel. I'm the hotel housekeeping supervisor. It's okay. uh, it's I don't like staying at home. I told my husband I wanted to get a job, so he told me, go ahead, have at it. So, but I have I have a wonderful husband. Uh, his name is Michael, and I have 3 wonderful dogs, Thomas, Libby, and Scooby, which are usually running around me, but not right now. Uh, and they they're amazing, you know. Um, there's a saying that if I could be half the person my dogs are, I'd be twice the person I am. So with that, um, that's me. Uh, I don't know if this is gonna be boring or what, but I apologize if it is. It feels good to be home, around family. Although I do miss the Navy, um, I enjoy being around my family very much. It, it's amazing, you know, um, being able to see my family. Maybe not on a daily basis, but every other day. Uh, you know, to become reacquainted with old high school friends is always nice. So, so with that said, that's my introduction speech. Um, and I hope everyone has a great summer semester. All right. Thank you.